السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome back to another episode of Quran in English. My name is Ahmed and I'm happy to take you through the next and final section of Surah Ghafir, the Forgiver. So we pick off with it's talking about the Prophet and it's back to general lessons, a lot of which we have heard before, but interested to see what it says. Before I get into it, I must explain what I'm doing. I'm here to learn about the Quran, learn how to read the Quran, and share my understanding with you. This is an educational journey that I'm on that I'm sharing with you in the hopes that you might learn something, but primarily so that I can learn something. So if you like educational attempts at content, then by all means. If you're bothered by mistakes, then maybe this channel is not for you. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل إني نهيت أن أعبد الذين تدعون من دون الله لما جاءني بالبينات من ربي وأمرت أن أسلم لرب العالمين. Say, indeed, I have been forbidden that I worship those who you call from besides God, when it has come to me the clear proofs from my Lord. It's interesting that they use a different word, Allah and then Rabbi. They are interchangeable because the God is the Lord of the worlds. But it's just interesting that they use different phrasings. I'm going to sneeze 1 second. I'm going to sneeze one more time. I always sneeze twice, I guess. You. And I have been commanded that I submit to the Lord of the worlds. Keyword here is submit. Uslim comes from Muslim, comes from Islam. It comes from the act of submission, which is a description rather than a label. But pretty much what he's saying is, I've been forbidden to worship these idols since God came to me with clear proofs from my Lord, and I've been commanded to fully submit to the Lord of the worlds. هو الذي خلقكم من تراب ثم من نطفة ثم من علقة ثم يخرجكم طفلا ثم لتبلغوا أشدكم ثم لتكونوا شيوخا ومنكم من يتوفى من قبل ولتبلغوا أجلا مسمى ولعلكم تعقلون. He is the one that created you from dust, from earth, from dirt, from earth, then from a semen drop, then from a clinging substance, then he brings you out as a child, then you reach your, here it says maturity, but it's you reach your might, you reach your prime. Sounds a bit more, I see the translation here, your prime is a bit more correct, not just maturity, but you're the strongest. And then so that lets you become old. And among you who dies, and among you who dies from before, die is what they understood. The expression is ceased, kind of, right? I think يتوفى الروح is to take the soul back to God. من يموت is to die. من يتوفى, we use it interchangeably because once the soul leaves, you are considered dead. But it is a different verb than that. But essentially, some people do not reach old age. And it says from before, some people don't even reach maturity. Some people die as a child. Some people die in the early stages. So before is just a blanket statement. You can die anytime before. So that you may reach a term that is specified, so that you may use your reason. Yeah, from dust, your father Adam, from a sperm drop, a union, it's a zygote after fertilization. Clinging cloud remains the embryo as a leech. Yeah, we've seen these phrases and terms before. هو الذي يحيي ويميت هو الذي يحيي ويميت فإذا قضى أمرا فإنما يقول له كن فيكون. He is the one that gives life and causes death. Now, this is the verse for death. This is the verb for death. You meet, mate, mote is death, whereas tawaffa is ceased or passed away. He's the one who gives life and gives death. And then when he decrees a matter, then all he has to say is be, and it will be. Yeah. Those are very powerful words. Kun fayakun. Be, and so it is. And yeah. It's, kind of just speaking about the power of God. Not only does he have power over life and death, he has the power to change whatever he wills. ألم تر إلى الذين يجادلون في آيات الله أن يصرفون. Do you not see that those who argue in the signs or the verses of God, how they... You're not seeing how those who dispute Allah's signs are turned away. Oh. أن يصرفون. Have you not seen how those who dispute in the verses of God are turned away? What does that mean? Turned away from what? Because how do you see it? It might be a metaphorical seeing, not necessarily a physical seeing. Like if it was turned off, it makes sense, because people who don't believe can have a disconnection from reality, but I don't know. Turned away is the verse that is being used. الذين كذبوا بالكتاب وبما أرسلنا به رسلنا فسوف يعلمون. The ones who deny the book, the verses, the scriptures, refers to the Quran, the Torah, the Injil, and the Zabur, Injil is what Jesus revealed, and the Zabur is what was brought down to David's Psalms. Those who deny the scriptures and what we sent with it, and what we sent our messengers with, but soon they will know. إذ الأغلال في أعناقهم والسلاسل يسحبون. Soon they will see when the iron collars are in their necks and their chains will be dragged. Which is such a horror visual. It is not within my nature to be able to imagine this easily. I am not drawn to horror. I am drawn to hope. I am drawn to faith. So it's hard for me to digest such imagery because it's so heavy. في الحميم ثم في النار يسجرون. In the boiling water, then in the fire they will be burned. Yusjarun. There's so many different terms for how they will be burned. And yeah, the pictures are very horror-esque and macabre. I don't know. ثم قيل لهم أين ما كنتم تشركون. And then it will be said to them, where is that what you used to associate with? Where is that what you used to say wasn't equal to God? Now, obviously, idols is an expression, other deities is an expression, but other concepts of like money, wealth, power, that which you equate to God, and that's what you worship upon, it's also the same, right? It's also like, where's your money? Where is your power now at the end of time? من دون الله قالوا ضلوا عنا بل لم نكن ندعو من قبل شيئا كذلك يضل الله الكافرين. What do you used to worship other than God? They will say, we have departed they will say they have departed. The things that we used to worship have departed from us. They've left us. Nay, we did not used to call from before anything. In fact, we didn't invoke anything before. Now here they've added the word real as a context. It's not mentioned anything real, but what I think it's saying is that when they say at that point in time, at the end of time, once this whole world is done, everything that was in this world that was super important to you, that was super relevant, your house, your money, your wealth, your strength, your power, your reputation, at the end of time, after it's all done, you kind of look back and you go, what even was that? Like, it feels like a fever dream. It feels like, if you've been in a dream all night long and you wake up and all of a sudden you're like, wow, that was nothing, right? Everything in the dream that you were thinking and feeling and reacting to is nothing. It was just a figment of your imagination, so to speak, or a form of processing, or a form of, we don't know what it is. But what you know is in this reality, dreams dissipate. So at the end of time, everything that we consider real will dissipate as well. Thus, God lets go astray the disbelievers. ذلكم بما كنتم تفرحون في الأرض بغير الحق وبما كنتم تمرحون. That is what you used to rejoice in the earth, without any right, without truth, without justice, unfairly, unreal, without truth is kind of a limit. Without reality is maybe another one, because you used to be insolent and acting arrogantly. Yeah. You held on to what you knew, and you thought that this is all there is to know, and you've made your bed and now lay in it. ادخلوا أبواب جهنم خالدين فيها فبئس مثوى المتكبرين. Enter the gates of hell, abiding in it forever. What a wretched abode it is for the arrogant. Yeah. Very dark and very, very, serious. Then he goes back to talking to the Prophet. فاصبر إن وعد الله حق فإما نرينك بعض الذي نعدهم أو نتوفينك فإلينا يرجعون. Now, this phrase, I don't know what it means. It says, be patient. Indeed, the promise of God is true. So if we show you some of what we promised them, or we cause you to die, and again, it's that cause you to be seized, cause your soul to pass away, then to us will be returned. Which I struggled with understanding it in the beginning. But like, whether we show you or whether you die, to us they will be returned. That makes a lot more sense than I was struggling. Because I was like, what do you mean? And we know, when was this revealed? This was revealed... Ghafir. It's verse 60 revealed, so it's kind of in the middle, but it's in Mecca. Before he went to Medina, right? Yeah, Medina were the last one. So this is before the wars, before anything really. And we do know later in his life, the prophets delivered some of God's punishment upon the disbelievers. It's interesting, because God's punishment was delivered through the hands of the Muslims at the time, whereas in a lot of other verses of messengers and prophets, God's punishment was delivered through storms of fire, through shrieks, through like supernatural events. And I used to always think, why did it have to be in the hands of the Muslims? This is in chapter... This is in chapter 9. Yeah, chapter 9. At-Tawbah is the only chapter that doesn't begin with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It was at the hands of the Muslims. And I thought, well, doesn't that cause more doubt? Because it wasn't supernatural, but somehow it's the opposite. like, people have a hard time believing in the supernatural, but people have an easier time believing in what they can relate to. And relating to the success of a religion at the might of hands and soldiers is somehow easier to digest than to believe in something you've never seen and cannot be repeated. Well, cannot be repeated by you. Of like raining rocks of fire, parted seas, earth flipping upside down, earthquakes, shrieks, birds carrying. So all of that is a bit more fantastical, whereas the passing of judgment from God through the hands of people somehow makes it easier to hold on to in our brains and minds. And I never thought about that before. Yeah. ولقد أرسلنا رسلا من قبلك منهم من قصصنا عليك ومنهم من لم نقصص عليك وما كان لرسول أن يأتي بآية إلا بإذن الله فإذا جاء أمر الله قضي بالحق وخسر هنالك المبطلون. And certainly we have sent messengers from before you. Among them we have related to you their stories, and from among them we have not yet related to you their stories. It's not just related to you, but told you their stories. Qisas from stories. Naqsus is to relate the story. Like, it is very clearly told you the news. So some of the messengers have been revealed to the Prophet Muhammad and some have not. And it was not for any messenger that he brings a sign, except by the permission of God. So when comes the command of God, it will be decided in truth, and the falsifiers there will lose. And the people of falsehood will then be in total loss. When Allah's decree comes, judgment will pass and with fairness. قضي بالحق. Yeah, judged in fairness, judged in truth, judged rightly so. That word is very unique. بالحق. It's very interesting. الله الذي جعل لكم الأنعام لتركبوا منها ومنها تأكلون. God is the one who created for you cattle, so that you may ride some of it, and from some of it you may eat. Pretty straightforward. وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَنَافِعُ وَلِتَبْلُغُوا عَلَيْهَا حَاجَةً فِي صُدُورِكُمْ وَعَلَيْهَا وَعَلَى الْفُلْكِ تُحْمَلُونَ. And for you among them is benefits, and that you may reach upon it your needs that is in your breasts, and upon them and عليها وعلى الفلك تحملون, and upon the cattle and upon the ships you will be carried. Now they had to explain what the benefits are: milk, wool, hide, which I don't know. Maybe I'm taking my education for granted, but that seems pretty obvious. وَيُرِيكُمْ آيَاتِهِ فَأَيَّ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ تَنْكِرُونَ. And he shows you his signs, so then which signs of God do you deny? أفلم يسيروا في الأرض فينظروا كيف كان عاقبة الذين من قبلهم كانوا أكثر منهم وأشد قوة وآثارا في الأرض فما أغنى عنهم ما كانوا يكسبون. Did they not travel in the earth, in the land, and see how it was the end of those from before them? They were more numerous than them, and mightier in strength, and their impressions in the earth, but none of it availed them. What they used to earn did not avail them. We've seen this time and time again. I've always talked about I've never traveled through the earth, so I can't really see this. And I don't know how you would see this, but maybe back then it was a bit more relevant. And maybe it'll be relevant in the future. Who knows? Because, yeah, if God's judgment were to return, then you can you can travel through the earth. Because the Quran is for a timeless... God's words are timeless. They apply to all times and spaces. So it may not apply right now to this time. It might have applied to the past and the future. But not every verse applies to every moment. You know what I mean? That's how you have a static text describing a dynamic environment and world. It is time bound. فلما جاءتهم رسلهم بالبينات فرحوا بما عندهم من العلم وحاق بهم ما كانوا به يستهزئون. But then when it came to them the messengers with the clear proofs, they rejoiced about what they had from knowledge, and it enveloped them what they used to mock. They were ultimately overwhelmed by what they used to mock. What knowledge they had, and there's a footnote, and ridicule the divine knowledge brought to them by their messengers. Yeah, I mean, I think it just, they were prideful in whatever knowledge they had is enough. And it's indicating that what they used to ridicule overwhelmed them, being the messengers from the prophets. Not the prophets, the messengers. فَلَمَّا رَأَوْا بَأْسَنَا قالوا آمنا بالله وحده وكفرنا بما كنا به مشركين. And then when they saw the punishment, they said, we believed in God alone, and we disbelieve what we used to associate with him. As soon as they see the punishment, but as you know, once God's punishment has been delivered, it's too late. Failure. فلم يكن ينفعهم إيمانهم لما رأوا بأسنا سنة الله التي قد خلت في عباده وخسر هنالك الكافرون. But it did not benefit them their faith when they saw our punishment, because that was too late. You have to believe before the punishment. That's the whole point. Such is the way of God, that which way he has proceeded for التي قد خلت في عباده, that which has always been his way of dealing with his slaves. Yeah, you get the opportunity, you get the proof. If you don't believe, you don't have to believe. Punishment will come, and then once punishment comes, GG, too late, game over, you lose. And lost are those who disbelieve. Yeah, pretty straightforward. That was Surah Ghafir. Next chapter is Surah Fussilat, which is also the next in Revelation order. And Ash-Shu'ara and Az-Zughruf, how many are them? Oh, Az-Zughruf, Ad-Dukhan, Al-Jathiyya, Al-Ahqaf, Ad-Dukhan, Al-Jathiyya, Al-Ahqaf, Ad-Dariyat. Yeah, Al-Ahqaf, 46 until 46. These are all in order, which is interesting to note. Oh, except for 56 and 57 from Medina. Single verses were released later? Okay, let's look at 56 and 57 are from Medina. What are the two verses that were revealed later? And let's try and see if we can understand why. إن الذين يجادلون في آيات الله بغير سلطان أتاهم إن في صدورهم إلا كبر ما هم ببالغيه فاستعذ بالله إنه السميع البصير. Oh, it's right after the seeking the shortcomings. And then the next one, خلق السماوات والأكبر أكبر من خلق الناس ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. Wow, just this verse is also very interesting. The creation of the heavens and the earth is certainly greater than the creation of humankind, but most people do not know. Very interesting. Very interesting. Randomly two verses. Maybe we should do this a bit more often to kind of review which verse is at the end of it. I kind of like that. I hope they all remember. How many verses is Fussilat? فصلات explained in detail. سورة فصلات. Right? Yeah, I'll have to see another word. Explained in detail, and it is. Right? Oh, okay, well, we're not going to find out. How many verses is Fussilat? 54 verses. Okay, interesting. I've never read it before, so I'm excited to see what it says. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you guys next week, inshallah, بإذن الله. بسم الله. مع السلامة. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Ciao, ciao. Love you. Bye.